What's up with it, fam? It's your boy Preston McCullough Jr. here, back at it again with another video. So fam, I had a conversation with one of my family members not too long ago, and long story short, they were upset about something that I mentioned in a video that I did a long time ago. Basically, all I said was that I believe that poverty is a choice, right? Now, the video that I made had nothing to do with poverty being a choice. In that video, all I was doing was pretty much driving through one of the neighborhoods in Dallas, Texas, giving an honest review, really trying to reach people who saw my video in Dallas, Texas, who walk past wealth every single day, don't recognize it, but then turn around and cry about gentrification happening all around them when they had the same opportunities to create that wealth for themselves. So I did a whole video about that. And in that video, I mentioned something about, poverty being a choice. So I wanted to make this video pretty much reiterating on how I feel about that, pretty much doubling down on it, right? Now, my perspective is unique, but I wouldn't say it's so unique that nobody else can share the same experience with me. Listen, I'm not a unicorn, but I did create some level of success for myself. I'm not a wealthy man yet. I'm not even a millionaire yet, but I will be soon. I'm 34 years old. My prospects is I'm looking to be a millionaire within the next 2 to 3 years, hopefully. Okay, so this is why I say that poverty is a choice. At the end of the day, fam, we all have to realize that we have to be accountable to our own decisions. We have to accept the responsibility for all of the decisions that we make in our lives, right? Like, where you end up in life is a direct result of the choices that you make. Now listen, all successful people did not have a perfect road to their success. Everybody hits bumps in the roads. Everybody hits hiccups in their lives, things that can cause them to take a couple of steps back, right? For instance, like going to jail, getting locked up, having kids out of wedlock, and then as a man, you over here paying child support, which is pretty much, which could be a huge chunk of your income. So that can be considered somewhat of a setback, right? And if you're a lady, having kids before you get married to somebody that's stable, somebody who's a good provider, somebody who that you can actually build something with, right? In that situation, then you are stuck raising kids on your own, which not only is a huge expense monetarily, but it's also taxing you on your time. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're dividing up your time between raising a kid or in some cases, multiple kids on your own, and you still got to balance that out most of the time by going to work. You know what I'm saying? So life is all about the decisions that we make. And then on top of that, we can even look at it from another perspective. Let's think about a lot of the people who just decide to drop out of high school. Making the decision to drop out of high school is not gonna automatically guarantee that you won't be successful, but what it is doing is it's actually making it more difficult for you to actually become successful. So again, life is full of the decisions that you make. Where you end up in life is based on those very same decisions. And again, this is not I'm not attacking in this video. I understand, I come from the same environments, but I was blessed. Like listen, I'm not different from you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm different well, I am different because, God kind of covered me. He protected me from a lot of the mistakes that I made. And now I'm in a place in life where I can see how all of the bad decisions that I used to make, where it could have landed me. So I'm not trying to create this video from a place of I'm above you, I'm over you. I'm just telling you what I see. So I'm really, really hoping that younger people, like people who are younger than me, 18, 19, 20, who haven't made those same mistakes, I'm really hoping that they see this video because it's so, so important, fam. Like, you have to be protective over the decisions that you make. You see what I'm saying? You have to be extra vigilant. You have to be intentional about creating success, separating yourself from the nonsense, right? Realizing the mistakes that the people who are still there as grown adults in their 30s, in their 40s, who are still in that same apartment complex, in that same hood, in that same ghetto, walking around the streets, waiting on the government to send them a check. You know what I'm saying? Learn from the mistakes that they made. Don't repeat them. Like, think about it, fam. How many guys do you know that's homeless, living on the street? Or let's say that they're not even homeless. Think about those guys that's hanging around on some corner on the block, hanging around at the gas station in their 30s and their 40s, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and they ain't got nothing to do. They just sitting around all day at the gas station, probably hustling, probably gambling, right? And I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of those guys is gonna tell you how they used to be some big time dope dealer, how they used to have all of this money, but then they got locked up. But then something terrible happened, something bad happened. And look at where they are now. fam, you got to realize you could be repeating the same exact mistakes that they created. Like, listen, a lot of times, fam, God puts certain people in our lives for a reason, especially older people who have been there and done that. A lot of times, the biggest thing that we need to do is listen and take heed. If you listen and take heed, 9 times out of 10, if you are willing to take heed, you can avoid a lot of the same mistakes that a lot of other people made before you on the same path that you on right now. Like, listen, a lot of the things that I grew up doing in the hood, again, I'm not innocent. I'm just being blessed. My situation is blessed, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to completely escape poverty. You know, God has completely blessed me. You know what I'm saying? And I owe it all to God because I didn't even know that God was protecting me when he was protecting me. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the people that God allows us to be around, right, are there to teach us a lesson for the most part. We just have to realize that God is the creator of the world. He's the ultimate power. Like, he's the ultimate being. He created everything. He created everybody, right? He's all-knowing, omnipresent. He's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But God gave us free will to choose. And a lot of times, God can allow us to be in certain situations and to experience certain things. And a lot of the things that happen to us bad were not that God caused it. It's just that because we have free will and everybody around us also has free will, we're all subject to sin. You see what I'm saying? We're all subject to sin. So a lot of people sin against us, right? And a lot of people sin against other people and they talk about it around us. Now, what we have to do is we got to be in tune with our spirit. You see what I'm saying? We got to be in tune with the spiritual world. And you have to be able to distinguish between darkness and light, between God and Satan. You see what I'm saying? And it's all spiritual at the end of the day. It's all spiritual. You know what I'm saying? It's all spiritual. We have to have a mind that's open enough to listen to the things that a lot of other people had went through. Because I personally believe that God wanted you to hear other people's stories so that we can learn from them, fam, and make a decision at that point. Either you're going to follow in that same path that they followed, which landed them where they are. And to be honest, those people who are still there, who made a lot of those terrible, horrible mistakes, that are still there talking to you, telling you about what happened to them in their life. You know what I'm saying? Whether they bragging about it or whether they telling you from a place of like, look, young man, avoid this, right? That person is still blessed because that person still got breath in their lungs to tell you. Now you just got to realize, like, okay, that's the path that they chose. I can choose to go down that same route. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to end up right here at the same age as this guy telling some other young guy about the things that I used to do in my life. Make a decision, fam. Make a decision. Poverty is a choice, right? There's nothing virtuous about being in poverty, about being poor. Like, God gave us this whole earth to inherit. Again, life is about decisions, right? Yes, there are some people who had an advantage over us. There's some people who inherited wealth. There's some people who grew up in a household where financial literacy was the norm. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of those people are also disadvantaged because a lot of them had, for the most part, had it easy. Not all of them. They still got struggles too, just different types of struggles. But they had it easy as far as like making it, as far as like never having to be in poverty, never had to lack, never had to be without. Now, where your advantage is the fact that you've already had to live without. You've already had to survive lacking in resources, lacking in food sometimes, and in shelter sometimes, getting put out and evicted, lights getting cut off. You've already dealt with the worst. How are you going to turn that around, fam? How are you going to turn that around and use that as motivation to push you to get out there and take a risk and bet on yourself? Listen, fam, it's okay. It's cool. If you want to be a rapper, be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? That's what 90% of the young black men and that come from areas like I come from, that's what 90% of them want to be. If not that, a basketball player or a football player, cool. If that's your decision, if that's what you want to be, cool. But if you gonna choose to do that, you got to put your all 100% into it. You can't be lukewarm on whatever decision that it is that you wanna, whatever route that you want to take in your life to get you out of your current situation. You can't be lukewarm. Put 100% into it. You see what I'm saying? And but on that same note, I would be irresponsible if I were not to say, like, listen, we all know, everybody watching this video has already heard this before. Those paths, the rapper, the basketball player, the football player, the top 3 things that the people from our community, from the Black community, right, want to become out of life. Some kind of famous person, right? Some kind of social media star. Like, that is extremely, extremely unlikely and rare, unless you're willing to put in the work and completely outwork every single person that you know that want the same thing that you want out of life. The easier route, fam, is to just get a skill set. Get a skill set. Learn a skill. You know what I'm saying? You can still pursue those same dreams, but you want to get a skill in the process. Something that's going to always be able to create resources for you. Something that's in demand, right? Like, listen, all capitalism is competition. Competition to see who can provide the best service for the best price. That's all capitalism is, right? But you're going to always lose in capitalism if you are that person that lacks skills. If you become a person that is replaceable with other unskilled labor, if you are an unskilled laborer, then fam, you're not giving yourself the advantage. So yeah, go out there and go try to become any and everything that you want to become. But I would advise you, highly advise you, to pick up some kind of a skill set. You got to get some confidence about yourself. You got to go out there and take a chance on yourself, take a risk, pursue something different. You see what I'm saying? Become an electrician, go to college. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to college, when you go pursue that trade or whatever, like, be completely 100% focused on being the very best version that you can be. Try to outwork everybody and be better than everybody in whatever it is that you pursue. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get that skill set, once you get that leg up on everybody else, you're going to then have an advantage if you still want to become some kind of pro athlete or some kind of famous rapper, because then you can bankroll it yourself. Again, life is about decision. Poverty is a choice. Sometimes you might have to cut people off. People who don't support you. You know what I'm saying? You don't share your dreams with everybody. Don't share your dreams with everybody. I would advise you to do what you're going to do and then tell them about it later. You see what I'm saying? I can go on and on, fam, but I really don't want to make this video too long because it's already too long as it is. It's already like a 30-minute video. But listen, I might even make a part 2 because I'm so passionate about this. I'm so passionate about this. I hate seeing people struggle because I grew up struggling. I grew up poor. I grew up hard. You see what I'm saying? I hate seeing people go through what I went through. And I hate seeing people who grew up alongside me, who saw every step that I took in order to get to where I am today. And the whole entire time, I was encouraging them, trying to motivate them, teaching them everything that I was learning along the way. The difference is I was actually doing it and I was sharing what I was doing. Most of those people who I was sharing it with, all they did was, okay, all right, bro, yeah. But they weren't doing anything about it. And that's why they still are where they are. And that's why I was able to excel. Now, I'm gonna end this video with this. On your journey of becoming successful and doing something great, what's gonna happen is gonna be a rift between you and the people that you love the most a lot of times. Once you start becoming successful, making $200,000, $300,000 a year and greater, you see what I'm saying? People gonna say that you changed, right? And for the most part, yeah, you have changed. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is, a lot of times those people don't realize that they've also changed. And most of the time, they changed first. They changed when they saw the fruits of your labor beginning to pay off. And they had a tiny, itty bitty bit of envy and jealousy and just like this feeling of you owe me something because I was here. I was down there in the mud with you. You see what I'm saying? All the while, not realizing that you were trying to pull them along the whole entire time. And they didn't realize it until you had already, And now, instead of just deciding, hey, I'm gonna make a change in my life too, right? Speaking from the perspective of them, instead of them decide, I'm gonna make a change too, I'm gonna be motivated by that. What they do is they continue to sit there and compare themselves to you, right? And they ponder on why it is that you are successful and they're not. And they continue to just not do nothing about it. They just sit there and think about you. Build up this hatred and this anger towards you. But those are those same people that'll be quick to smile in your face though. Those are the people that you gotta watch, fam. You know? So as you build success, watch the company that you keep. You see what I'm saying? Watch the company that you keep. Whether they family, whether they friends, or what. Watch the company that you keep. I'm gonna end this video right here, fam. That's all I gotta say. Thank y'all for watching. Holla at your boy.